Hello and welcome to Solstice Sun Repousse, a medium difficulty activity. And in this one we're going to be making a relief sculpture out of our sun drawing by pressing a design into metal from behind. So let's talk about materials. First we'll need some aluminum foil or kitchen foil. You'll need a square of cardboard, a dull pencil, and then either some markers or some watercolor paints. What I have here are bingo markers, and those are basically like liquid watercolors. So I'm going to be doing mine with liquid watercolors and brushes, but you can use markers if you wish to. Now it's important that your pencil be very dull, and you should also have a scrap piece off to the side that you can practice on before you do your final piece. Let's get into it. At the end, you'll also possibly want to make yours into a card, so that is an option. You'll need some cardstock for that. We'll talk more about that later. So we have our tin foil, and I have my scrap piece. Now what makes this repousse is that we are actually going to press the design into it with a very dull pencil, and we're going to be pressing it into the back side. See how there's a shiny side and a dull side? We're going to put our shiny side down and draw on the back side. And you'll notice, depending on what surface you're on, the pencil might poke through. So try a couple of things. A magazine is really good for this, or a piece of cardboard. But don't press too hard. I got a stack of paper here too that can help if you don't have all that other stuff. So I'm going to start by putting my square on there and tracing around it, and then I will draw my sun like we did before. I'm trying to be very careful to press in, but not so hard that I tear my tinfoil. I'm adding my curvy lines for my sun's rays, and then I'll add my chevrons in between. Next, I'm going to add some lines for details. There we go, adding some texture in there. Again, I'm pushing into the tin foil, but not so hard that it's going to punch through. Finally, I add my face. Hopefully you remember all these steps. And I'm going to fill in all these empty spaces with some swirly lines. I want to add a lot of texture to this one. Pushing it into the tin foil. Next, now that I have my design pushed in, I'm going to add my color. And I've got a little cup of water there, and I've got my bingo markers, and I'm going to get my brush wet with the water, and then I'm going to get paint right off of my bingo marker. I squeeze it, and then I brush my paint on the tip. I'll show you how. I'm just lifting ink or watercolor, there you go, right off of the tip of the bingo marker. Again, if you want to color on yours with markers, just be careful not to push in so hard that it takes away your design. It will smush in your design if you press too hard. So just color the flat areas around it if you want to use a marker. But I really like the way that the watercolor paint works on this one. It kind of highlights some areas. So that's what it looks like when I'm done. Make sure to let it dry for about an hour, and then clean out your brush. And when your brush is clean, let it dry with the bristles facing up so that it's not getting squished down. Then when we're sure that our brush is good, we'll put that away and we'll get ready to mount our piece. Now if you want to mount it on a piece of card, you got to get some cardstock like this, or if you're going to put it on your cardboard just to make something to put on the wall, then you can use your cardboard square. No matter what, you're going to need some glue, and this blue piece of paper here, that's a scrap piece of index card. I'm going to use that to spread out my glue. I'll show you what I mean. Now, if you want to do this with a card, you'll follow the same process pretty much, but just make sure you have very thick paper for your card, like this. Here's one I did earlier. You can see the design is on there. It didn't get squished away. You just got to be careful with this. Alright, I'm going to do this one on my card, just because it's a little easier to show. There we go. So, next, I've got it in about the right spot. I'm going to cut off my corners so that I can put it onto my cardboard square. I'll go a little faster here. Cut off those corners. Snip, snip. And then carefully set it off to the side. And I'm going to cover my whole surface of my cardboard square with little dots of glue. And I'm going to use my scrap piece of index card to spread it around. That way I don't have to press my tinfoil with the design on it down onto it very hard. I can just lay it on there, turn it over, make sure my cardboard is in the middle, and then I'm going to glue the sides down. Just put a little line of glue, fold over your sides, and there you go. So when you're done, you can hang it up and enjoy it. I hope you had a good time with this, and I'll see you in the next video.